All right, welcome back to Mo Media, everybody. It feels so good to be back. I'm always so late to the party when it comes to these different current events and these different pop culture topics because I work a lot of late hours and a bitch just be tired. And as soon as I hit the door to come home, I just be like, listen, I want to talk about it, but it'll wait till I can do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow turns into a week, okay? Or in some cases a month, honey, because I didn't went a long time without putting up these videos, but it feels so good to be back. Now, today we gonna talk about the infamous Miss Cynthia G, honey. Miss Cynthia G. And you know what, I will say this. Since she's been back kind of like semi-regularly, she been giving me everything that I need. Like, especially that video she did, or that breakdown she did of that dust bucket that got killed by his little Becky not too long ago. Oh my goodness, bitch, she gave me life in that fucking video. I think I didn't watch that about maybe at least 6 times because it's just such an incredibly entertaining listen while I'm at work. And so it's just, girl, too good. But the one thing I want to say is, in doing these videos, I really don't have no dog in the fight. I'm just a messy bitch that likes to watch a bunch of different shit while I'm at work to basically make that 8-hour shift go by faster. And, you know, and like I said, in doing these videos, I'm not covering these topics to try to sway anybody's minds, to make you not watch these people, or whatever, to sway anybody. You know, I encourage you to watch all of them, because a lot of these people, a lot of these different YouTube personalities, they have a lot of issues, a lot of mental instabilities. A lot of them, or most of them, are hypocritical as ever. But bitch, they're also incredibly entertaining. So I would encourage you to just watch all of them, because that's what I do. Because honey, anything past the entertainment value, I really don't give a fuck about. So all I say is, you know, entertain me while I'm at work. So, but I'm so damn messy. Okay, so like I said, let's get into it, okay? Because I hate when people have long intros and I feel like I'm just going on and on. But anyways, yeah, that's just I just want to have fun, drink. Yeah, I know I love wine. I love me a good old cup of wine, and I just like to watch different shit, okay? So, like I said, we're going to be talking about Cynthia G in reference to Umar Johnson. Okay, so what happened is, Umar Johnson, who is, you know, he's a social media personality. He's been around for a number of years now. He is a self-proclaimed psychologist, and he is also a Pan-African, okay? So, not too long ago, one of his daughters claimed that Umar Johnson was basically a deadbeat father to her, and that he wasn't in her life. And so Umar, he gave, you know, the atypical response of a dust bucket, which is to say that, oh, well, the baby mama wouldn't let me be in my daughter's life, yada, 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 okay? So then, right, Cynthia jumps her messy ass into the situation by bringing Umar's daughter onto her channel and interviewing her, okay? Which that was a good interview too, okay? And I would encourage you to watch that, honey, because the shit was entertaining. So I guess apparently after this, right, Umar was doing a live stream, and I guess someone asked him if he had seen Cynthia's interview. And so this was his response. And so honey, we gonna get into it, because honey, Umar, he said, listen, you ain't gonna try to air out my shit without yours being aired out, bitch. But anyways, let's get into it.
Even going so far as to take pictures with her, and he also has been on the internet multiple times for multiple years, not too long ago, helping my enemies destroy my character and assassinating me and telling people to call the police if they think I stole school money. You know what my issues are with my father. Why are you asking? You already know. Dr. Umar, did you see how your oldest unfortunately went to do an interview with Cynthia G? Yes, I saw that. Struggle Streamer G. Struggle Streamer G, who is a baby mom to a man with 5 baby moms, and she's interviewing my daughter. How that work out? You are the baby mom to a man with 5 baby moms, and you interviewing my daughter about me. Can we stop the hypocrisy? And all you struggle streamers interviewing my daughter.
Honey, when I seen this, I said, oh my goodness. Dr. Umar then pulled this bitch's whole card, honey. He pulled that bitch whole card. He was like, listen, you ain't about to be airing out you ain't gonna air me out without me airing you out, bitch. He said, honey, don't sweep in front of my front door, honey, before you sweep your own. And honey, I was gagged, honey. And I'm not sure if you noticed it, but she like, as soon as he mentioned it, right, about her being a baby mama, she kind of laughed a little bit. I was like, oh goodness. Now, you know what, hold on for just a moment. Let me get my cup for my wine. Okay, so in response to it, right, I'm not going to play it, but because I don't want to deal with no copyright shit or nothing like that. In response, Cynthia was she gave her personal best response. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I have to keep it real. Okay. Now, this is one of the things one of the reasons why I can't fully get with Cynthia G on completely, because she don't always keep it real all the time. And she is one of those people that she has an issue with completely owning all her shit. Okay? Her response was basically, she still is in this denial, saying that she is not a baby mama. And she kind of pulled one of those ghetto girl tactics of, if I do got a baby daddy, why Umar? Why you ain't went to go talk to him, Umar? Why you didn't go talk to my baby daddy? You and him need to have a conversation. You don't need to be bringing that to me. You need to go talk to my baby daddy, right? And it's just like, girl, can you please cut this bullshit, okay? None of us have fucking amnesia. We all remember this shit that blew up about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, however long. It probably was even longer than that, about you fooling around with that old dust bucket, ugly ass dude, Robert Perkins, and you got pregnant by him. I'm not sure if she had brought the baby to term, but this is what I will say. Right around in that same time that she was exposed by her little friend, and I'm going to show you that, she wasn't on camera for months, okay? So when she finally came back, I didn't know if she had the baby already or if she ended up having an abortion. I didn't know, okay? But it happened. So it's just like, bitch, can we just stop it already? The response that I feel like that I could have respected, because I can't respect this bullshit that she came with. I'm not a hypocrite. You the only one that's a hypocrite. All this stuff, and it's just like, girl. Robert Perkins is the same dusty bandit that you always have been ridiculing, okay? And the fact, and that just goes back to what I was saying about how these people will preach one thing, but they live a completely different life. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to get on camera and act like you have a whole bunch of, self-confidence and standards, but are you really living that in reality? That's the question. But in regards to her situation, she was preaching about women not being baby mamas, about them not dealing with dusty bandits. And the fact that you sat here and entertained a dusty bandit like Robert Perkins, it just is what it is. It wasn't a good look for you. You know what I'm saying? So, you need to own some of this shit. And because of that, also, too, some of your detractors, like the Manosphere and Sotomayor and all these other little clowns, do kind of have a valid criticism. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like I could have respected her more even back then if she would have just owned the shit. Now, this is a response that I could have respected from her. If she would have just been like, yes, that happened. You know, I fooled around with a man who, you know, fell into that category of being a dusty beta male. You know, I'm not perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, you know, but I made a decision thereafter or moving forward that I was always going to make sure that I made the right decisions in my life. Period. Dot. You acknowledged your, you know, that, you know, you fell into the same trap that you preached for women not to. You ended it. You owned it. You acknowledged it, and now it's over. But when you know, and then now if people still come and, you know, and keep trying to say something about it, then now they look like a damn fool because you already acknowledged it and it's over now. But to keep, you know, all this, I don't have a baby daddy. Look, listen, bitch. We don't have amnesia, okay? And watching this video, it really did make me feel like this was a perfect time to take a little stroll down memory lane. Okay, now I did see a video from a lady who was saying, well, oh, you know, Cynthia, she has denied that she you know, that she had or whatever, that she had a baby or whatever. I don't know, she may have had an abortion, but that still doesn't erase the fact that she sat and got pregnant by Robert Perkins, somebody who has from what I've heard, at least 4 different baby mamas. So it's like, you know, you got to own your shit. Now, this segues perfectly into the next part of it, because I like I said, I want to take a stroll down memory lane. I'm not sure if, okay, the lady who did the video saying that Cynthia said she wasn't pregnant. Listen, bitch, a lot of people who watch her now probably are more or less new viewers. They probably only been watching her for about, I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 years. But listen, I've been watching this bitch for a long time, okay? At least a good 7 years. And I remember what happened back then. And I know a lot of things that she has said. So it don't matter what that bitch says. This bitch can deny it and to deny all of this and act like, oh, it's just gonna blow over. No, bitch, the internet don't forget. Okay, so you know, like I said, I will reiterate, I could have respected it better if she just admitted the shit, said that, you know, I moving forward, I'm gonna make, I decided to make sure that I'm making smart decisions now. You know, it was a learning experience for me, yada yada, and just kept it moving. That I could have respected that kind of an answer. But all this other shit, girl. Now, I'm not sure how many of y'all bitches remember this girl face, okay? Her name was Star Cookies, okay? And Cynthia used to hang real tough with this bitch back in the day. Like, I mean, back in the day, Cynthia, okay? Way before she started hanging with those little hard knock life cell block 4 bitches like Woman's Fair and what's the other little one? Woman's Fair, Irene, and Nyla Says. That's who I was thinking about. Way before she started hanging out with those prison fodder bitches like them. Who was it? Like Nyla Says, Irene, all these little bitches. This is who she used to hang out with. This girl right here named Star Cookies. I have personally always referred to her as Quasimodo, and that's what I'm going to continue to refer to her, because she's a very ugly girl, and I've always referred to her as Quasimodo. Okay. Now, like I said, she used to hang with this bitch real tough, okay? Way before all them bitches came in. It was so strange because it was just like one day she just started doing live streams with these people, and I remember thinking, like, who are these bitches? Like, who are they? Like, who is Nyla Says? It's like, I don't know. I only watched. I actually was a frequent viewer of Cynthia back in that day, so it seemed like I would have, you know, seen something. it wasn't like like from my perspective, she just had them on her channel. It was no introduction at all. I just started hearing her do live streams with them, and I was just like, who are these people? So before all that, Quasimodo and Cynthia used to do live stream together all the time. And I don't know what happened, but somewhere along the way, okay, there was there had to have been some kind of rift between Cynthia and Quasimodo, okay? Because this bitch exposed some text messages between her and Cynthia, where Cynthia openly admitted to having a relationship with Robert Perkins. This is him right here. And it's interesting, like, when I think about Robert Perkins, I had seen one of his videos. This is like even before I even started watching Cynthia. And I think I had started watching a few of the videos, and I think he said some kind of like, he spewed some kind of like dusty logic that I wasn't feeling, and I think I just never watched him again after that, okay? And then it was like, to my shock and surprise, Cynthia started, you know, having, she started doing some kind of collaborations with him, and I'm like, I remember thinking like, he looks familiar, and then I realized like, oh, that's that dude who I had watched. So anyways, this is just Star Cookies. I tried to find, you know, her channel to see if she had her channel or any social media thing now, but I wasn't able to find it. I did hear somebody say on one of the videos that I watched, because I watch a ton of videos. Like, listen, I started my last 4 hours of my shift at work, I was knee deep in this Cynthia G shit. Because I was like, it was so funny because I was feeling tired and kind of lethargic before that, and then I started watching Cynthia's live stream, and honey, I started going down the rabbit hole, and I ended up getting some energy because I was getting so excited about this mess. That just goes to show you how fucking messy I am. But anyways, so this is the girl, okay? So these are the messages that Quasimodo released about Cynthia, okay? So I think this one right here is referring to Phil from the Invite Show. He changed his channel name now. And he actually is also somebody who I used to watch, but I stopped watching him because he much like most of the content creators out there, he's just a hypocrite. But okay, so Cynthia's like, or is this anyways, I think this is Quasimodo's comments right here. It says his ex-wife isn't black, and I think Cynthia saying his wife said she was not black, she was Mexican. What? She told you this? Yeah, she did. She said his ex-wife, it wasn't black, she was Mexican. Anyways, whatever. This ain't what we're here for. So, moving down along, speed up this video. And I really, really feel like I want to thank whoever this person is that put Quasimodo picture up here, because at first I could not find anything about her, and I was so happy when I seen her picture, because I was like, yes honey, this is the girl. Okay, so they say, hey, how have you been? Been good. I've been sick, I'm pregnant. So okay, so Quasimodo says, you pregnant? What? Cynthia's like, yep, 6 weeks apparently. It's weird because you and I were doing that video and I was saying I didn't know if I wanted a kid. So Quasi is like, I'm extremely shocked. And so Cynthia's like, yeah, you and me both. I was on birth control, I think, for most of the time that I was pregnant. Quasi is like, if you were excited, congrats. If you are excited, congrats. If you aren't, then still congrats. This is very crazy news. Wow. Okay. So Cynthia says, me and Rob talked about having a child multiple times. He told me even if I did get pregnant before we planned, he would be cool, just take responsibility. He also said he would not resent me. Now this statement to me, it kind of is it's indicative in the words of Cynthia G, it's indicative that she seems like she doesn't have the highest self-esteem, because if this bitch then got you pregnant, why are you even worried about him resenting you? Why is he resenting you? Because he's sticking his dick in you? Like, what do you mean? So, but anyways, he is doing the exact opposite of what he said he would do. I saw many times how good of a father he is, and that's not anything I would take from him. Getting pregnant now was not a decision for me. It was something I tried to avoid until at the very least I put my book out. If I had felt like Rob was a dusty beta male, I wouldn't have spoken to him, let alone had sex with him. And I told him that based on his reaction, I am completely surprised by him. Now, she's saying that if she didn't think he was a dusty beta male, she wouldn't have had sex with him. But according to the criteria that you have outlined, he would fit into the category of a dusty beta male, whether you have respect for him still, or whether you have respect for him regardless or not. He still would fall into that category of being a dusty beta male. You can't change the rules now that it's you, and that's what it seems or appears like she's doing. It says the first month I was here, there was no condom or birth control used, and I didn't get pregnant. It's weird to me that I got pregnant during the month I was taking the pill and trying to avoid a pregnancy. Okay. Now, personally, I'm just going to tell you my personal feelings. It seems like to me like she wanted to get pregnant, but that's just my speculation. So let's move on. Okay, I'm trying to sift through these because these ones on this video are kind of out of order. What you looking for? Okay, so you know what? Let me go to this other video that I got, because these messages, it's like the way that the person who posted this video put it, it's like it's out of order. Let me go to this other one. Okay, so in these messages it says, Cynthia says, then you got these dusty beta male enabling black women that defend the bullshit. I just can't. Okay. And so Quasi says, it's just sad at this point. I refuse to let these hopeless dummies run my life. So Cynthia's like, yeah, after I put my book out, I'm getting away from YouTube. I'll still put out videos on Patreon for those who want them, but believe it's a complete lost cause. The men are completely conquered and not a threat to white supremacy at all at this point. It's really sad. Okay, moving along. Okay, so Quasi is like, have you told Rob? Cynthia's like, I'm actually terrified. I did, and he's been dramatic, so I'm not talking to him. What do you mean dramatic? He's talking about he's traumatized and didn't want a kid. Okay? Now, on her other message, she just talked about black women defending these black men who are dusty beta males. But you're doing the same thing by saying that, okay, well, even though he falls into the category of being one, I still have respect for him. And I'm going to play her response that she did back in the day. And I'm so glad, like I said, that these people had these clips up here, because it's like, you know, I've never had, like I said, I don't have no dog in the fight. You know what I'm saying? I just like to listen to different stuff. But at the same time, it's like I just gotta call bullshit on some of this stuff, and hypocrisy on a lot of the stuff that she is saying. It's very hypocritical. So she says that he's traumatized. His dumb reaction is enough to make me vomit with all this nausea. I'm so sick. I'm so sick almost all the time. So Quasimodo says pregnancy can be very scary, especially if you didn't plan it. It is because I didn't want to bring a child into a system of white supremacy, and I certainly wasn't prepared to deal with the symptoms. Wait, how is he traumatized? I'm very confused. This is what happens, and then I can't see the rest. Okay, it says, okay, and then these, even, it seems like even these ones are out of order. But anyways, it's Cynthia's like, or no, Quasimodo is like, are you going to be in Seattle for the holidays? She says, hopefully the black doctors take it more seriously. I'll be out for my niece's birthday in court. I'm going to file against Tariq. And you know, it's so funny, right? I remember the day that she posted a video where she said she was going to sue Tariq Nasheed. I remember that. Like, this is so nostalgic for me. It really is. Because I remember when all this stuff first came out. Okay, so speeding it along. I'm just gonna let all the messages play. I don't know, honey. I wish that I had took the time to screenshot a lot of this stuff, you know, when it came out. But this is all I could find. It says, yeah, I just had to ask because it's a lot. Single motherhood is no joke, especially if you don't have people. And this is, I guess, Quasimodo. If you don't have people around you. Also, just dealing with Rob for the next 18 years isn't going to be the best. Just being dead ass honest. A child needs their father. Rob will not be able to give this child the attention it really will need, regardless of if he's there or not, because he's already stretched thin. You yourself aren't really ready either, because to have unprotected sex with a beta male when it's the very thing you preach so hard about is concerning. Now, honey, when I read this, I was like, oh, bitch. I was like, okay, now this right here may be some of the reasons why Cynthia and Quasimodo had, you know, a breakdown in their little friendship, honey. Because Quasimodo was not holding no fucking punches with this bitch. And she was telling her, she was giving it to her what my mama calls tough and tight. And she was calling this bitch out like, you preaching one thing and you doing another, you know. And like I said, I can't really respect that about Cynthia. You got to own your shit, bitch. You got to own it. Because it's very true what Quasimodo was saying. It says, I'm not saying you won't be the best mother you can be. I'm sure you will. But is your best its best? Whew, I was like, whoo, Quasi, honey, if girl, don't get to preaching, honey. It says, I just think at this place in our lives and what we know, these type of situations should be below us. I really do want the best for you. You are a nice girl. I just always have to keep it real with everyone around me because I don't like to sit back and... Okay, so this is send me another picture. Okay, anyways, moving on. Oh, shoot, an ad. Hold on. Okay. So let's see. Move along. Where's the next message? Okay, so this picture up here is basically a screenshot of the sonogram that Cynthia had. And so she says Geminis can be hood radish, right? So she's one of those typical people who are obsessed with astronomy. It says Geminis can be hood radish. I hope they move too. One of my sisters is moving to North Carolina, but to Fayetteville, which Rob said is 4 hours away from here. And when I read this, I'm thinking like, bitch, is you chasing around after this dude? I don't know. It says, Quasi says, I see. Well, at least she will be 4 hours drive than that plane ride. So that's progress. I don't... Child, tell me that Quasimodo is not shading the entire fuck out of this girl. I don't think Geminis are hood radish. Cynthia's like, I don't know many of them, but I have known some with some. And then, okay, let me go. Okay, so the next message is this is the baby's little face. So again, these were images of the sonogram. It says, my sisters claim they can tell she's a girl. Okay, and so and then this was the message from the previous one. Like I said, like a lot of these messages are out of order, so just just mind that. I have no control over that. Okay, so let's see, moving on. Okay, it says will most likely come a few days before. Rob said it says this is like, girl, Rob said he mostly cares about the baby being healthy and that it would have been a boy, but he decided that he didn't want to come because of how I talk about black men, LOL. He cracked himself up with that one. Quasi is like Gemini. Yeah, I have a sister that's a June Gemini. My cousin is a June Gem. I like Geminis. Cynthia's like, she will be raised by a Leo and Aries. I think she will be Rob's only baby that's born in summer. She will actually be closer in age to her cousins than her siblings. It says, hey, youngest sibling will be 6 when... Okay, so... so apparently, this dude got older kids, like older kids. If his youngest is 6, it's just like, my goodness, girl, you been in some other chick's vagina very recently, which makes it, which goes back to the whole point of that I'm trying to make in that Quasimodo even pointed out herself. It just was really stupid, and like I'll say, it just is not a good look, and if she continues to not own her shit, people are they're just always going to clown her about that. It just is what it is. So, moving on. So this stuff I do want to show. This is about a lot of these videos that I found are like 6 years ago. So I think this happened about 6 years ago. That sounds very plausible to me. Okay, it says something house didn't know who knows you unless you stay hidden for your whole pregnancy. Whatever, this is what Quasimodo said. It says, yeah, that's true. It won't be hidden for much longer, I'm sure, especially in this right here. She's talking about hidden as far as hiding her pregnancy or whatever. Like I said, this bitch was off camera around that time. She was off camera for months, okay? Which, and I was like, okay, yeah, this tells me that my memory is not incorrect. So she says, yeah, that's true. It won't be hidden for much longer, I'm sure, especially if the baby looks like him, which in many ways I'm sure it will. His children has his features, especially his son. Quasi says, see, Cynthia's like, I do most of my live videos off camera, so that wouldn't be hard. Yeah, even though before that you were on camera and you're admitting in these messages that you were off camera because you were pregnant, but she's always said that, oh, I don't have a baby and whatever. It's like, girl, come again. So Quasi is like, that's why he really just needs to talk to you, not to the public about y'all problems. People already know how you look. You've been on your something for something. The message is cut off. Okay. All right. Moving it along. Okay, and so this is back to the other messages that I already read. So basically it's just, and I looked at a lot of different videos. This is basically all that, all the messages that I could find. So, you have it there. She fooled around with Robert Perkins and she got pregnant. And, a lot of people may not be aware of this, but I'm just showing you this is what it is. Now, here's a clip of Cynthia talking about this pregnancy. And again, she didn't come on camera. This bitch did not come on camera for at least a good 6 months, okay, if not longer.
People are not generally in this generation.
Oh, okay, let me go to it. Oh, hold on, wait, let me play this part. What does she say here?
People are not generally in this generation. They're not really going around. They're having casual sex, and that's why diseases are high, because they're having casual sex unprotected. They're acting like they don't know that somebody can get pregnant.
Oh, industry has done that. So what she's ultimately doing is she's putting out some text messages, and granted, the things that are in the messages I did say, I would never go back on the stuff that I said. As a grown woman, I have no problem admitting to stuff that I said. I said some things out of anger.
Yeah, you're admitting to the messages only because there's no way to refute it. We see them, but you are still not admitting and being a woman about it and saying, yeah, this is true, I did get pregnant, this is I have a child by Robert Perkins. You're still admitting that, because even on her video that she made a few days ago, I heard her say, I don't have a baby daddy. So what do you mean? Either you got an abortion or you're not. But it's like, if you had an abortion, why not just say I had an abortion? You know, like she's still trying to make it a mystery, but it's like none of us are stupid.
During a certain time. And so what's going on is this is being framed in a certain way to basically say that I met a man, Rob, and within 3 months I chose to go get pregnant by him. This is what is being said. Now, the thing of it is that this is not the case, because like I said, this person does not even know if I'm currently pregnant, because I have not spoken to her in a while. So she wouldn't know, she wouldn't be able to validate if I was still pregnant or not. She would not be able to do that, because again, I have not spoken to her. But I would not lie and say the text messages and the stuff that she's showing is not true, because it is. And those things that are things that I've said, I said them in a certain context. That context is not being shown, of course, because when people want to show a certain narrative, they're going to show a certain narrative. So I'm being told that I'm a hypocrite. I'm being told that I somehow chose a man who is a dusty beta male. I understand that I said certain things and messages out of anger, and like I said, I don't have a choice but to take responsibility for that, because I did say certain things. Now, do I think this man as a beta male? Absolutely not. Did I meet him and then within 3 months decide and plan to be pregnant by him? Absolutely not. I certainly didn't do that. But I did get a text message where obviously I did talk about some consequences.
And you can, and I'm not sure if y'all can tell, but I've been listening to this bitch so long that I know that she feels so humbled right now. You could just hear it in her voice, because usually she be coming up on here, honey, with that fiery spirit, but she is real humbled and speaking real soft in this interview. Now, it doesn't matter if you planned it or not. The fact of the matter is you still got pregnant, you know, at the end of the day. But these are just, you know, her words. You know, she's very much walking back a lot of the points, a lot of her main talking points, just because she doesn't want to admit that she made that, or that she is guilty of the same thing that she is, you know, has always blasted other people for doing, especially black men. Okay. Now, you yourself, you may not have multiple baby daddies, but you got pregnant by a guy who has multiple baby mamas. So, I mean, you were one of his baby mamas. At the end of the day, and I don't understand why she is not forthcoming about if she had an abortion or not. She can say to Quasimodo, oh, well, we haven't talked in a while, and she's not sure if I'm still pregnant or not. Okay, you had a sonogram, so that means that you were kind of probably more than likely farther along in your pregnancy. So, I mean, unless you already dropped the baby and whatever, or you gave it up for adoption, or you had an abortion, that the fact of the matter is it still existed. So, but I'll continue.
Conversations that we had, and I did say that we had a conversation about that, and that's because I met him and spoke to him and learned that he was a very intelligent man. I liked his character. I still like his character. That's just the reality of what it is. I do not quantify him by the amount of children he has or the amount of women that he has them by, because quite frankly, he is the most active father I've ever seen in my life. I've never met a man who was more.
Again, the criteria has never her personal criteria of what makes a beta male is not that he was an active father in the children's lives. Her criteria is that that you're a beta male because you have a bunch of, or one of the reasons why you're a beta male is because you got multiple women pregnant. Okay, it's never been, oh, you're an active father, none of that. So miss me with it.
I've never met one who was more active or involved. I never met one who would do anything to make sure he's there to support his children. That's just the reality of what it is. And so if people are quantifying somebody being a dusty beta male based on how many children they have with how many people, then they're going to call them a dusty beta male, because they don't care about anything. They care about the fact that this man has children by more than one woman. So that's why they're quantifying him as a dusty beta male.
Now, at the end of the day, it's not people who classified him as a dusty beta male for having a whole bunch of baby mamas. It's you that classified him. So you can't go back on it now that you're in the hot seat. But most people, they can't stand 10 toes down in they shit, and they can't keep it real. Okay, but let me just move on. This is the title of the video if you want to go watch it, the rest of it. But I'm gonna move on to the next one. Now this next one that I'm gonna play, this tickled me so much when I listened to it. But what I like about listening to, because I listen to like a lot of different videos, and the reason why I like to listen to a lot of different people's perspectives is because you get little nuggets of information that you may not find if you're just listening to one person. But honey, I'm just going to brace you. These chicks was dragging Cynthia G to the fence, honey, and the shit was funny. So, but let's get into it.
Let me play this video real quick from Cynthia G, okay, popular YouTuber. I guess she was one of the first people to leak this shit. Okay, so let's go ahead and it's a 3-minute video. Let's see what they talking about.
What's up, everybody? Got a lovely news for y'all.
Lovely.
Cynthia G pregnant.
Cynthia, girl.
By Rob Perkins from YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And this lady right here, Star Cookies, she spilled the beans. She used to be Cynthia G's friend. I guess that fell off.
Speak on it, Randy.
She decided to go ahead and spill the fucking beans. And this message right here,
I know.
from Cynthia G to this lady. Cynthia G, she's
Let me pause this because he's just irking the shit out of y'all. Okay, so people in the chat are saying that she was not the first to spill it. Let me know, because like I said, I just found out about this shit less than an hour ago, and I am gagging right now. Gagging. Do you understand? Okay, so I guess Cynthia was sending.
Okay, I just stopped it because if you want to watch this video, this is the title of it right here. If you at work, I implore you to please watch it, because it'll help you get through a lot of them hours, because it was hilarious.
Messages to her friend, right? So she's sitting up here saying, me and Rob talked about having a child multiple times, and he told me even if I did get pregnant before we planned, he would be cool and just take responsibility. He also said he would not resent me. He is doing the exact opposite of what he said he would do. I saw many times how good of a father he is, and that's not anything I would take from him. getting pregnant now is not a decision for me. It was something I tried to avoid until at least I put out my book. If I had felt like Rob was a dusty beta male, I wouldn't have spoken to him. Girl, shut the fuck up. We saw the shit, bitch. I saw the shit with my own 2 eyes. You was sitting up there twirling your earrings, had the low cut fucking tops on. Bitch, she knew she was going to fuck him from the moment he put out that fucking video defending her against Tariq Nasheed. When Tariq Nasheed was dragging the shit out of her ass. Okay? She knew right then and there she was going to give him the pussy. Someday, somehow. I mean, we're talking about 2 people who are not even in the same fucking state. She traveled to him. Okay?
Oh my God.
He wanted that thing, girl.
Oh. Let's see what they're talking about in the chat. Sin probably somewhere in the corner, pissed and crying. Sansaray is happy because she feels like Cynthia G has fallen to her level. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I was reading that the Priya girl. Hold on. Let's see here. What they're saying about her is that
I think Russell said, what's the lady in the video name? I think you're referring to Sipping. Okay, I wasn't saying she didn't leak it first. She just don't have room to talk. Oh yeah, I mean, bitch, we'll do another video on that. Sansa Ray got pregnant by a whole fucking married man, bitch.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
Yeah, she got.
Ooh, and honey, when I heard this, it reminded me. I was like, oh, you know what? I forgot all about that mess with Sansa Ray, because I'm very familiar with Sansa Ray. I will always say, back before, like Derek Jackson was exposed by his little baby mamas or whatever, it was only me and Sansa Ray that did a video exposing or just talking about what a fuckboy Derek Jackson was. But yeah, I did, and I always say that because of course, like when all the shit came out about Derek Jackson or whatever, then everybody want to say, oh yeah, I always knew that about him, but nobody ever spoke about him. It was only me and Sansa Ray that said something about him, and then I think that little biracial dude or whatever, Angel Ramirez, I think he was saying that Derek Jackson had stole, I don't know, his concepts or whatever for his t-shirts or whatever, some kind of merchandise or whatever. But other than that, nobody ever did. But yes, Sansa Ray, I do recall she was sleeping with a married man. Man, this stuff is so fucking nostalgic, man. I love it. Okay, let me go back.
She got pregnant by a married motherfucker.
Tell me about her.
Sansa Ray, that's the girl in the video, girl. Let's just stay on Cynthia G right now. The conscious stripper got most of the school money. He's talking about Dr. Umar and y'all are so fucking stupid. Let me see. I like your confidence. Sansa Ray was lying about being married to you. Okay. Anyway, girl, I don't even know how to feel right now. I don't know how to feel. I mean, obviously, when you're a woman, that biological clock gets to ticking, okay? And one of the things she pushes is this whole, she doesn't like interracial dating at all, okay? That's Cynthia G. She hates interracial dating with a passion, okay? So I guess she feels like, since she had her baby by a black man, she'll just accept the fact that she's never going to be the only one. I mean, this Negro has gone on different platforms talking about how he always keeps at least 2 women.
Now when I heard this, I was like, ooh, bitch, honey. I have personally never heard that. That's why I say I like to listen to different stuff. I like to watch different shit, because you learn different nuggets of information that you ain't heard before. I was like, ooh, really? 2 women at the same time? I guess.
He cannot stay with just one woman. He has publicly declared this.
So she's in a situation. I mean, is she?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, because I'm trying to get it out. So is she okay knowing that she will not be the only one? Because I don't find anything wrong. You want two people, you want two people. But it's hate knowing that she will never be the only one.
I mean, she's gonna have to be okay with it because and here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. If she wanted to, she could still terminate that motherfucking pregnancy. I'm not trying to be cruel. I'm just being real. She still has the option to terminate that pregnancy. She's not going to because she feels like if she's going to have a child, she at the very least wants to have it with a nigga like him. Someone who appears to like love his children, even if he's not going to fuck around with her. So in a sense, she is settling, and she's kind of settling in the worst way, in the like most stereotypical way.
Ooh, child. I honestly, I can't say that I disagree. I think that this is a very, very, like, I think her assessment of the situation is fucking spot on. Like, I think it is spot on as fuck about the situation, because there is no way in the fucking world that you would, you know, seemingly have the ideology that you have and, you know, preach to women, you know, the stuff that you have, and you would just do this, you know, like, you know, it can only be that you settled, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I will say this, like, Cynthia, you know, is definitely not somebody who is like, you know, she's definitely anti-marriage. She doesn't see it as being the end all be all. That's what she's, you know, she always has said. But she definitely has been very clear about, you know, being anti-baby mama, you know. So I can only think that if she went ahead and became one, that it's like somehow she felt like, okay, well, this, you know, I'm never going to get what I really want, so let me just settle for this. But I don't know, that's just speculation on my part, you know, because, you know, but here's the thing that I think about her. I think that if a man did really want to marry her, and especially a man that had money or had means or whatever, I think that bitch would be the first one walking down the fucking aisle. And that's just my opinion. Let me continue.
I'm shocked. I'm absolutely fucking shocked that she would sit up here and, you know, feed all of this propaganda to us and, you know, tell us all this shit about, you know, being women and what to look out for and, you know, dusty betas and this and that and the third, and then you went and you settled to be like somebody's sixth fucking baby mama. I mean, and this nigga, I mean, keep in mind, we talk shit about people like Future and shit, but this is a regular Negro. He's not a superstar rapper. I don't even think he has a job. I don't even think he has a job.
They were saying something about him working for Homeland Security, but I just saw a picture of him with like one of those construction jackets on. So I don't know if he does that, like work for the city, and then he works on YouTube. If that's a, you know, a thing for him. I don't even know his follower count, but at least, girl, like, if he can't afford to put all you women and children in one home and do some Diddy type of stuff, that's just not the move, okay? Like, that's QI critical.
I'm sorry. QI critical thinking just said he works for YouTube.
Girl, she better hope. Is she on child support? She might have to get some YouTube checks garnished. She might have to get it garnished. Like, does he pay child support? Has he even spoke on that? Like,
girl, he has 5 other children. I mean, get what garnished? What is this woman going to get?
Girl, her $3.
What a fucking joke.
Like, I'm not seeing it. He looked like somebody that sells weed though. So,
bitch, he looked like the weed man.
No, he really do though, especially when he had locks. He really did look like the weed man.
That nigga will sell you a dime of some yellow tape, bitch, okay? And then tell you about black empowerment. That's what the fuck that nigga
That's exactly what happened. That bitch flew out here got high with that nigga. That high fuck is a slick fuck. And got high. That nigga started talking about the moon, the stars, and the black community. She laid up with that nigga the same way Lauryn Hill was doing with that Marley. And got caught the fuck up. And now she in her bag, like, girl. And now
Bro, you know he hit it the first night. You know she flew out there and he got that. Listen.
Girl, listen, fly herself out.
Not only that, but she was very instrumental in helping his platform grow. Because before all of this, he was doing like some weird ass fucking spoken word shit. I mean, he was never my cup of tea. No, he would be on there doing like this weird, like, I mean, I saw one video where he was talking about him and the adventures of his dick or some shit, and I'm not even fucking exaggerating.
Oh my God, so she got pregnant by this hypersexual ass nigga.
Hypersexual ass Negro. And he's sitting up here talking about fucking older women, fucking, you know, his friends, girls, and all type of shit.
Oh, girl.
Okay. So how effective can you be in the black community when you and a lot of Negroes like you cannot even control your genitals? That's what the fuck.
Whew, my goodness. I was like, whew, girl. Now, that's why I watch different people, because you learn different stuff. Whew, honey. Now, if any of this that they're saying, a lesson is not true, like, but if it is true, whew, girl, this is just not a good look. You know what I'm saying? And like Cynthia was saying on the other video that people were painting the narrative, but it's like, I don't know, my dear. It don't seem like they would need to, you know.
Fuck, I'm trying to figure out. And you fell for that shit, girl? Bitch, bye. Bitch, bye. All we can do is pray for you, bitch. I just know that GoFundMe is about to, that bitch, the baby shower registry is going up. The GoFundMe is going up. This nigga is a deadbeat dad is about to fucking go up. It's going down.
I'm not wasting
going
no prayers on her.
You said what, girl?
I'm not wasting no prayers on her. I'm sorry. She too grown. Like, I got real shit I need to be praying for. That's not it.
You said no, Rob had 8.
Okay, so I'm gonna just end it there. You know, if anybody want to go and listen to the full video again, this is the title of it right here. And yeah, this was streamed 6 years ago. So yeah, this shit happened about 6 years ago, which is crazy that it's been that long. But I'm gonna move on to my last video. And this is called, here's the title of it, Cynthia G exposed the anatomy of a liar. Now, I will say in this one, I really don't agree with all of the points that she made about Cynthia G. I think that personally, when it comes to black men, that Cynthia G be spot on about them. So, you know, I don't agree with that. But here it is.
The anatomy of a liar. Today, we are going to do a deep dive into the psyche of infamous YouTuber Cynthia G. What motivates her to push her lonely, sacrilegious existence onto her own people? On this episode, we will reveal who really funds her and how she uses her melanin to poison her own. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Hi guys, my name is Elle.
Now, when I first watched this and I heard her say that Cynthia G was sacrilegious, I cracked the fuck up, because I know, obviously I've spoke about this in my videos, and obviously I'm aware that she is very sacrilegious, but for some reason I never really thought about the word. I've never ever thought about the word sacrilegious, so it just struck me as really really funny. But she is.
I'm in a lot of groups on Facebook, relationship groups. I mean, I'm in some marriage groups. I'm actually in some marriage groups. Hey, Joe, I'm in some marriage groups.
I wonder why a self-proclaimed happily single woman would join a marriage group. Rose. Hey, Rose, didn't you say you had some exclusive footage that would explain all of this? You're wishing on a star? To follow where you are? You're wishing on a dream? and follow what it means.
Sense of superiority that married women tend to have over women who are not married. You got a lot of women who got a husband and her husband is somebody else's boyfriend. Okay, well, y'all going through a lot of stuff the single women ain't going through. Because if your whole thing is you're going to be in that marriage and you're going to take those emotional bumps and bruises and heartaches and things like that, okay, well, that's fine. But, I mean, the next chick ain't having to deal with that. Even often the side chick ain't even having to deal with that. Often the side chick is getting the best of your husband. You're getting the drama. You're not getting loyalty. She's getting the same that you get. She's getting money. She's just not getting the drama and the heartache. And you can sit up here and say, well, he committed to her and he married her. Okay, well, how serious is he taking his vows?
Hey, Cynthia, are you trying to tell us something? Wait, is this a confession? I don't think your boo Brian would approve of this message. You don't want his wife Becky to find out about y'all business like this. I'm just trying to help a sister out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Nyla, you better watch your back, honey. Aren't you the only one married on that panel? Very interesting how your alleged husband could watch his wife call into Cynthia G's show night after night after night for hours on end complaining about men. Are you sure that your alleged husband, Mr. First Name Pookie, middle name Ray Ray, last name Dusty, is okay with this? Hashtag make common law marriage great again. Yay!
I'm saying that we don't really look at marriage realistically, and I think it's because the value that black women have in themselves and that we're told that we should have in ourselves is so low that I think that they get this sense of superiority because they're like, okay, well, black women are told that they're undesirable, and so if this person marries me, then that must mean I'm better than every single woman out there. I think that they look at it as validation of their worthiness. I think that's what it is. You got a lot of women who got a husband and her husband is somebody else's boyfriend, and her husband is somebody else's boyfriend, and her husband is somebody else's boyfriend, but she doesn't care because she's married. You got women who are in relationships and marriages to where they're getting knocked upside the head every day, but they don't care because they're married. They got women who are in marriages, the husband is barely there. Like how many married women don't even know where their husband at right now? They don't even know where their husband is. But they don't care because they're married. That single chick that they think that they're better than is probably your husband's girlfriend, but you don't care because you're married.
So Cynthia G wants us to look at marriage realistically. Interesting choice of words. So Cynthia, your definition of marriage is abuse, cheating, and never-ending suffering? Interesting. Let's seek out our Father's opinion on this matter. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. So Cynthia, obviously no marriage is perfect. You have to take the hard times as well as the good. And if you have a marriage that looks like what you described in this video and not like what the Savior says, then that particular marriage is not honored or acknowledged by God, and doomed unless you seek God's favor. Because His door is always open, even to you, Miss Cynthia G, even to you.
They don't want to. So that's the problem.
Exactly. No, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you.
Let's see, let me move on. Okay, yeah. So this video is not. It's not. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the pregnancy stuff, but I did see it, and I remember it being some things that I wanted to talk about. But it's like now that I'm doing it, it's like I'm thinking like, what did I want to talk about? Because this doesn't have anything to do with her pregnancy stuff. Let me just play it from here.
While you ponder that, let's see what Cynthia G thinks of those who choose to believe in something greater than themselves. God, their creator, the creator of all, and his son, our Lord and Savior.
I know there are people who are in my comment sections who want to tell me that I need to somehow give Christianity a chance, that I was never a real Christian, and that the Bible is legitimate, the Bible was written by God, which it wasn't. The Bible has an entire copyright owner, and it's not God. The Bible has an entire publisher, and it's not God, but I digress. These are things that people want to tell me as if I'm not familiar with the religion. Again, I grew up in this religion just as much as every other black person in this country has done, because we know that this is a inherited religion that we have. This is nothing that we just went out and acquired on our own. We didn't go through any spiritual journeys, and people can miss me with this whole notion that they went through a spiritual journey and God revealed himself to them. Religious psychosis is real, and if God is only revealing him or herself to you, that means you're having a psychotic delusion, i.e. a hallucination, and it doesn't validate what you're saying.
You heard that, right? Look at the title of the video. Proof that Christianity is a satanic religion. Now look at the caption. It says, this demon wants you to rely on Jesus during the economic crash while he relies on your money. Pay attention. If she said Christianity is a psychotic delusion, why does she use words like satanic and demon? Doesn't this mean she acknowledges the existence of Satan, evil, and demons in the world? If you believe in darkness, then you must believe in light. Think, guys. Also, go to YouTube, type in Cynthia G Christianity. Look at all the titles of her videos. Listen to her try to turn you away from God and Jesus, and instead follow tarot readers. False teachers and their destruction. But there are also false prophets among the people, just as there will be false teachers among you. They will secretly introduce destructive heresies, even denying the sovereign Lord who brought them, bringing swift destruction on themselves. Many will follow their depraved conduct and will bring the way of truth into disrepute. In their greed, these teachers will exploit you with fabricated stories. 2 Peter 2. I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but lately it seems that Cynthia G has been heavily promoting tarot readers. First it was Blue Nola Tarot, and now there's another one. Let's take a look at what tarot reading really is. Tarot cards are associated with divination, which means to unlock the secrets of the future by occult, supernatural means. Divination is strictly prohibited in the Bible.
Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you so much. Again, this is Reno the Tarot, but you can call me Chris, of course. Welcome to my channel. I want to also start by saying thank you to all of my subscribers and all the new subscribers that decided to join by way of Cynthia G. I appreciate you so much.
According to the website of a practicing oracle, necromancy is the practice of magic involving communication with the deceased by summoning of a spirit for the purpose of divination, in order to gain the foretelling of future events or to discover hidden knowledge. A lot of people practice forms of necromancy unknowingly. If you practice any form of ancestral worship and invoking of spirit guides, angels, or archangels for protection, these are all forms of necromancy. If you receive dreams and visions from the spirit world, this is also a form of necromancy. The use of a spirit board, also known as a Ouija board, tarot cards, oracle cards, or angel cards are all a form of necromancy. Now, let's take a look at what God says about necromancy and divination. I say to you, inquire of the mediums and the necromancers who chirp and mutter. Should not a people inquire of their God? Should they inquire of the dead on behalf of the living? Isaiah 8:19. Do not turn to mediums or necromancers. Do not seek them out, and so make yourselves unclean by them. I am the Lord your God. Leviticus 19:31. There shall not be found among you anyone who burns his son or his daughter as an offering, anyone who practices divination or tells fortunes or interprets omens, or a sorcerer or a charmer or a medium or a necromancer, or one who inquires of the dead. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord. Deuteronomy 18:10-12. Black people, my people. Cynthia G is not our ally or friend.
Okay, so now that I watched most of the video, I think I can kind of remember what I just a little tidbit that I wanted to talk about. And again, this doesn't have necessarily anything to do with Cynthia G and this pregnancy mess that she got involved in. But this is one thing I will say. That I did agree with, and I really don't want to speak up, really deeply about this, because at the end of the day, people are going to believe whatever they want to believe, and it just is what it is. Personally, I don't have a problem with people who criticize the Bible or who question it. Okay, I don't have an issue with that. The issue that I personally have with it, and before I get into that, let me just say, you do have to be careful about people who will say one thing and then say another. Okay, because you can't say that Christianity is a satanic religion, but then you are encouraging people to indulge in magic, which is also rooted in Satanism. Okay, it's like, okay, well, how do you like one thing over the other? It doesn't make sense. The problem that I have with people's criticisms when it comes to the Bible is that, number one, most oftentimes it's rooted in pure emotion. Number two, they're never very knowledgeable about what the scripture actually say. They will give you blanketed statements on what they have heard other people say, or on what they interpret based off of light reading that they've done. I'll say this, there's even a third, where even if they do show you some scripture, they don't give you any sort of context as to what the scripture is referring to. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Like if somebody showed you the scripture about the people sacrificing, making burnt offerings to God, and them sacrificing animals, and they'll sit up there and this is just an example. And let's say they say like, oh, these people are terrible. They killed animals. This is animal abuse. But they don't give you the context, the cultural context behind that. At that point in time, that was what they were instructed to do by God, to make a burnt offering to Him. Okay, that's. I'm just telling you what is written in the Bible. That's what's written. Okay. That's what they were told to do. That's what they were instructed to do, and so that's what they did. And so that's an example of what I mean when I say people will give you scriptures, but they don't give you the context in regards to what the scripture is saying. Cynthia said that if you're the only one that God is revealing Himself to, then you're having a psychotic delusion or hallucination. Okay. Cool. I've heard, over all the years that I have been watching her, I've listened to her a lot, obviously. And I've heard her say that she used to be deep in the church. And a lot of people are, that's a lot of people's stories. They be deep in the church, but unfortunately they don't really be deep in scripture. Okay. And again, I'll say I don't have any issues with people criticizing the Bible, because I have my own criticisms. But when you get up here and say stuff, you have to, number one, you have to be accurate as far as what the scriptures actually say. And number two, you can't just be saying stuff based off of emotion. Okay, you actually have to be knowledgeable about about whatever it is that you're criticizing and know all the context. You know, even when it comes down to just pure history, even though the Bible is a history book, you can't just sit up there and say something or whatever that happened in history without giving the context as to the situation and what it happened in. But specifically talking about the scriptures, nowhere in the New Testament do we read Jesus saying that it was his mission to reveal himself to everyone. There's a clear distinction that is made in the New Testament that the Lord makes, that Jesus makes, between God's people, which will be the children of God, the people who acknowledge him, and the world. The Bible refers to the rest of the people, i.e. the people who are not children of God, as the world. Okay? So if you're sitting back and you're expecting to see something and you are not in allegiance with a certain belief system, then you're a fool. When you have somebody who says that I search the hearts, what that person is saying is that, because a lot of people, the problem with a lot of people that they have, before I get on that, is that they really don't see God as being a real, true, living being that can see and perceive. And so when you have someone who's saying that I search the hearts, okay, what that means is that I examine you. I'm examining your thoughts. I'm examining who you are, and I know exactly where you stand. Okay? That's what that scripture is saying when the Lord says I search the hearts. Okay? I can see all the shit that humanity gets into. I search within them to see where their values lie, if they're in alignment. Okay? Now, it just goes without saying that it just is what it is, that most people's values are not in alignment with God's ideology and their values. Okay? So, with that being said, why the hell would anybody show anything to somebody who they don't have anything with? Okay? It makes no fucking sense. What she's saying, I feel like, is likened to if you, let's say that you was trying to become a Scientologist, and at every meeting that you went to, you were trying to preach to them Christianity. Them people are gonna be looking at you like, what the fuck are you talking about? If that's what you believe in, then you need to go over there with those Christians. This is Scientology. They're not gonna want to have anything to do with you. In anything in life, you're not going to, unless you are aligned with it, you're not going to be, you're not going to be in the same agreement. Shoot, I got something on my nail. Hold on. You're not going to be if you're not in agreement with it, you're not going to gain anything from that. If you're somebody who's trying to join a Scientology group, but your ideology is completely different, you're not going to gain anything from Scientology, obviously. Another good example of that is, let's say you want to join the basketball team, but you missed every practice. You didn't go to any of the practices. You didn't go to any of the games or any of the qualifying matches at all. And then let's say you get mad because they ended up not picking you to join the team, and you get mad. That's the same ideology as that. It's like, why the hell would they put you on the basketball team and you're showing no interest in this organization and what we have going on? We're all about basketball, and you're somewhere off somewhere doing something else. It makes no fucking sense. Another example I can think about is, let's say you have a group of friends, and let's say one of the friends has been distant. Let's say one of the friends, let's say you and your group of friends want to go on a vacation, and one of the friends has been distant. You've been calling them, they haven't been answering none of your phone calls. You text them, they don't text you back. They've been gone for a good 6 months. Haven't generated or kept up a fellowship with you at all. And let's say it comes time for you to go on that vacation, and then this friend who's been gone for all these months suddenly wants to come and go on the vacation. Should you go on a vacation with that friend? Should you want to take that vacation on that friend on the vacation with you? Absolutely not, because y'all don't have any fellowship. So I gave all those examples to paint the picture that when you don't have any fellowship with a certain person, it makes no sense that person want to have fellowship with you. So if you're somebody whose ideologies don't align with Christian ideologies or with God or the Bible or whatever, however you want to say it, and you're waiting for God to show you some kind of sign, you're a fucking fool. Because where they do that at? Who goes to people who don't want to have nothing to do with them and try to show them anything? The people don't even really want to hear most people don't even want to hear what the Bible got to say. So why the fuck would he show you anything? So that's just my thoughts on it. I'm trying to think, do I have anything more to say? Anyways, it makes no fucking sense to me. So to say that, well, if you're the only person who sees something, then that's just a psychotic delusion. If you're somebody who is basing your beliefs in what the Bible say, it actually aligns with what it says. Even if you go and look at the number that's listed in the Bible of people who are going to heaven, it's a very, very small number. What does that show you? What does that tell you? It tells you that it's a whole bunch of people who ain't fucking going with God nowhere. Heaven is, in the Bible's words, is God's domain, which means that's his home. Why would you want people in your home who you don't have any fellowship with? Would anybody want to just take somebody off the street and have them in their home who they don't know at all? It makes no fucking sense. But anyways, that's just that was just my thoughts on this portion of the video. Again, like I said, this little tidbit it didn't necessarily have anything to do with Cynthia G and the pregnancy thing, but when I heard what she said about the psychotic delusion, that's just what I thought about it. Like I said, your criticisms have to be it has to be criticisms in regards to what the scriptures actually say, because the scriptures don't say anywhere that the whole global mass of people in the world is just going to somehow be led to God. That's not what it say. So but and I feel like, and if you were as deep in the church as you said that you were, it's kind of should be something that you should know. But I notice, like, when it comes to Cynthia and the topic of spirituality, she's always very evasive about what she does believe in, but she always talks about Christianity and its hypocrisy or whatever. But I have heard her say that she that she definitely is a crystal slanger, and she does this little tarot card readings, and unfortunately, it's like if if you think that you're gonna be slanging fucking crystals and doing all this other shit, like, and you think that God is gonna show you something, I mean, like, I just don't know why anybody would do that. You know what I'm saying? And again, I just think that a lot of people just don't really view the Lord. That they think that they can put their spirituality in the back pocket, and that somebody, that the universe or God or whoever, that they not seeing how inconsistent they really are, and that somebody is playing. It's like nobody is playing but you. Like if you believe that there's a God, He can see everything that you're doing. Ain't nobody stupid. So, but anyways, I'm in that there. I hope that you were as entertained as I was by these videos. Please do leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye bye.